Well, today we've got Daniel Bell in the studio with us. He's a stay-at-home dad and he makes up the 4% of stay-at-home dads that are in Australia at the moment. Daniel, welcome. Thank you for joining us at the table.
Hi. Thanks, Rachel.
We want to get the lowdown and make sure, you know, the myths match up with reality here. We're just going to let everyone know. Melody, you just, you know, make sure he has honest answers because, you know, these are partners in crime here with their son. So you have a son. How old is he?
He's 14 months old now.
He's 14 months. OK,
Yep.
so how long have you been doing the stay-at-home dad thing?
Full-time, just by myself for about 6 months, but
Okay.
I had a sort of bit of a long introduction that I ended up being made redundant from my previous
Okay.
job, and so that was at Christmas time, and so then we decided to go on a bit of a long holiday, and so yeah, we had several months there and then back at home before she started back at work. So
Okay, and how are you finding it?
pretty good.
Long pregnant pause.
It's certainly different to,
Yep.
to what I was doing before. So yeah, yeah.
Okay, because there's an article that was it was in the Daily Telegraph and it talked about men who are stay-at-home dads and how that they're finding that there's, you know, diseases are popping up like ulcers, heart problems, chronic lung disease because they're losing a sense of masculinity. Is that something that you can agree with or identify with at all, or you think it's rubbish?
Yeah, certainly like the societal view of, you know, women are the primary caregivers, that, yeah, being the man coming in to be the primary caregiver, yeah, it was like a bit of a concern type thing, like small one and sort of in the back of my mind really, that, you know, mostly you're able to do the job, not breastfeeding initially, but we were already onto bottles by that time when I started.
Okay, and do you get odd reactions from anyone, maybe like in a change room or out in the park or anything like that at all?
A few times, like at the store, like sometimes people will say, you know, like, oh, you're looking after the kids today? Or looking after the kid, you know, what, we've only got one.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking after the kid today. And usually I'll just say, because it's a brief interaction, that I'll just go, oh, yeah. Like I won't bother going, no, actually I'm the full-time, I do this every day.
Yeah.
But just because that's a brief interaction that I don't pick them up on that. But yeah, people will say, you know, because I'm the male looking after the kid, that I'm just doing it just for the day type thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's culturally, you know, most mums are going to be doing that role.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but he's actually just joined into my mother's group. So he's like the, you know, the thorn among the roses with all the mothers and the mothers
Or
group.
the rose among the thorns.
Oh yeah.
So how do you find going into a bunch of women into like a mother's group? Are you the only male in that group?
It's a Facebook group that was set up when, like, mothers that had given birth around that time, like the community health system was set up. And so, yeah, it's all women in the group. And then I just got added in when we switched, when Melody went back to work. And, yeah, just sort of meet up with them at the park from time to time and things. So it's fine, but a bit weird. That
I would imagine that you'd have a really unique perspective. What are some things that you think that you're able to teach Elliot, or, you know, just in that interaction that you think maybe mothers aren't able to provide?
Well, one thing that Melody's mentioned already, that, you know, I sort of let him play in the dirt a bit more than she would let him play in the dirt.
That's important as a boy, I think.
Yeah.
Have adventure.
So yeah, I'm fine with that. He sometimes eats it, which I try not to let him do that, but
Try.
Yeah, so tell me, how does the difficulty of being a stay-at-home dad compare with the difficulty of work? Like, can you even compare them? Or, like, has this been just something that's been totally out of your comfort zone, or have you, like, adapted well to it, you know?
I thought that there might be a bit more spare time, free time, while looking after him, and that yeah, I'd be able to, you know, like, he'd sit there and he'd play with his things and I could do some things. And I wrote about it in the article that's in the book, that, you know, when I was just starting off, and I was like, oh, I just want to get this email that I thought was important. And yeah, I was just like trying to start, and then he's like starting to get into something else, trying to climb up something.
I totally identify, 'cause I work from home with my son, and yeah, sometimes you just want to hit the send button and you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Do you come across many other dads at all? Like full-time stay-at-home dads?
Yes, there's a few. There's the Facebook group North Shore Mums, and there's a smaller subset of that called North Shore Dads, which is a separate group, but it's a lot smaller. There's thousands of people on the North Shore Mums, but there's a few hundred people on the North Shore Dads. And when I first started off, I put a post up, I'm switching to come in as the primary carer if anyone wants to meet up. And there's one that was down in sort of Artarmon, so a bit sort of further away, but another guy that was up here in Hornsby, but his daughter's just gone to school this year, but he'd been looking after them before. But I met up with him and sort of sometimes meet up, go to the park with him type thing as well.
Seem to be kind of few and far between in that sense.
Yeah, it's certainly the smaller thing. Although just this week I go to a playgroup on Wednesday, and there's maybe 15 people there, and there was 4 dads were there.
Someone's really
It's on the rise.
Just at this time. So that was like, usually there's maybe one and myself, but one of them's a shift worker that he switches with his wife or partner.
Are you involved in a church or any playgroups there? Because I know they often have like free playgroups around.
This playgroup is through a church. It's a Uniting Church
Awesome.
at Normanhurst. But our own church that we go to at Chatswood has a kids club on Saturday morning, so like we get to go there and do singing and things, singing songs and craft and so on. But we sort of, because I've done the most work through the week looking after him, that Melody sort of tends to try to give me a break and look after him a bit on Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you find that being with that church is sort of a really good support for your any loneliness or isolation?
With the church there where we are at Chatswood, like it's sort of a broad area where people come from, so we're not sort of right by the church there to just be able to just like, I'm just popping down to the park.
I think the big question is though, does Melody actually ask you what you've done all day at home? Look, thanks for joining us here at the table. You can find us on Facebook, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, but for now, we'll see you next time. Bye.